Great to be with everybody. We're gonna get going here. All right, we're gonna get going here. It's great to be with everybody. We don't need to hear though, right?
Yeah. There you go.
All right.
So the only thing we'll need to do is
all of these people in.
all right, gang. Here we go. I want to first share my intentions with you for offering this material. My area of words, economics. This is the old version of the book. Many of you might have the new version. You don't need to have the book in order to participate with the class.
There's a whole bunch of echo going on.
My intention with this is that it supports you, is that it somehow brings you a greater joy, that it sustains you, that it is an inspiring content during
But how
this
come it's
time,
that big?
but also not even during this time, that it's something that helps you out.
Oh,
moving
good.
forward.
You don't have to
There's
see
a
my
tremendous
face.
amount of material to cover over these 3 days. We're going to meet today for an hour, and then Wednesday, and then Friday morning. And I'm just very excited to be with you. So we're going to dive right in. I want to share with you what the classes are going to look like here first. So today is going to be, we're going to go through the chapters of the book. So today is going to be the truth about substance, your fortune begins with you, the law of visualization, if you can believe, and the grateful heart. On Wednesday morning, we are going to cover, if I can get to the next slide here. There we go. Work and the success syndrome, how to reverse financial adversity, which may be a particularly hot topic right now. Security in a changing world, which definitely is a hot topic right now. And the money enigma. And then on Friday morning, we're going to discover, we're going to explore, discover the wonder of giving, a new look at tithing, and a new world order. All of it is so meaningful for this moment. This book was written in 1983, 1984. When was it written? 1983. It could have been written yesterday. Eric Butterworth created some material that is definitely standing the test of time. So let's dive in and let's get down to business. Here we go. So the prosperity process. So if you're here for a reason. And my first question to you to consider for just a moment is, what commitment are you willing to make over these 3 days? Big, small? Another way of asking that question is, what would add to your cup of joy? What would make you more joyful? Just take a moment to consider that. What commitment are you willing to make? Exploring this material with me and taking your life to another level. Being in a place of peace in times of tumultuousness. So consider, what commitment are you willing to make? It's a good question to ask. A commitment isn't meant to be something that's an arduous process. It's meant to be something that actually brings you joy. So again, just consider, how are you willing to be more joyful? Simple question. Charles Fillmore, the founder of Unity, said, "It is a sin to be poor." So are you already confronted? Does that piss you off? What does that even mean? It's a sin to be poor. What old paradigm are you willing to throw away in order to stop the frustration of your potentiality and welcome true prosperity? What does it mean it's a sin to be poor? It means that if we're poor in any way, poor of spirit, poor of mind, poor of finance, poor in any way, that somehow we're frustrating our own flow of potentiality. Weeks and hopefully not months. What old paradigm are you willing to throw away in order to stop the frustration of potentiality and welcome true prosperity? According to Latin, in Latin, prosperity means according to hope, or to go forth hopefully. Who couldn't use some more of that right now? Is your hope diminished? Are you afraid? A word you're going to hear a lot during this time is consciousness. Consciousness is simply a collection of your attitudes and beliefs and the way that you touch life. How do you interact with life? That is consciousness, and it's internal. It's something that happens inside of you. I use the word consciousness a lot, but let's not have it be some new age, new thought kind of weirdness. Let's simply have it be something that means your attitude and your beliefs and how you feel about life, how you go forth and how you touch it. The same principle is at work according to consciousness. Prosperity is a way of living and thinking and not just money or things. Poverty is a way of living and thinking and not just money or things. Consider that. We're talking about a law of life. However you meet life, whatever's in your consciousness, your attitudes and beliefs and your feelings, either prosperity or poverty. Choose one. Make a choice. You can choose because you have mastery over your own mind. And we're going to get into that more later. Developing a rich mentality. Butterworth presents, he says, too many students are overread and underdone. So the goal is embodiment. This material that we're presenting is meant to be embodied in the same way that when you have a sandwich or you have a balanced meal, whatever it is. Let's say you have a steak with some broccoli and some mashed potatoes, whatever you eat, whatever your flavor is. The body knows what to do with it. It takes it and metabolizes it. It sends the right vitamins and minerals to the correct places in your body to know what to do to enhance your physical being. It's the same thing with this. We don't want to be just read. We want to be active. We want to have something happen. Our goal is embodiment. When we bring in truth through our mind and through our heart, trust that because you live inside of a spiritual universe, that your body knows what to do with it. Your spiritual body knows what to do with it. So let's work on embodiment and not just a mental knowledge of something, but a rich spiritual revolution can take place because of this. Again, it all comes back to consciousness, attitude, belief, and feeling tone. How you are touching life, how you are moving forth into and as your life so that you can be fulfilled, more joyful, a greater expectancy of good. Let's keep going here. So fundamental to the prosperity process is your relationship with capital L life, or the universe, God, source, essence. What is it? What is your relationship with that? Do you believe that there is no God? Do you believe that God is the kind of the old school original idea that God is, sitting on a cloud someplace, the God of judgment? Is God all loving? Is God for you? Where do you come from? I encourage, and circles of truth encourage, that you find a relationship with life such that you know that it is for you. And this is fundamental, again, to the prosperity process. Prosperity isn't just money. It includes that, but it's the health of your body. It's the health of your mind. It's mental health. How many of us are challenged right now with the idea of being locked down and government orders coming to us for you have to stay in your house unless it's for something essential? What does that do to our mental health? How is your mental health? A prosperous mental health is one that sees hope, that can still that can entertain joy, that can find ways still to have fun, that can realize that there are ways to still be creative and welcome good into our lives. So consider that a relationship with God or life that doesn't sustain you and set you free and welcome you to a greater experience of good, whatever you call good, is less than what you're looking for. That's a whole other class or relationship with God. But anyway, consider that in the days and weeks ahead. Here's what I know is the truth about God. The word universe literally means the whole of things. The words God and universe can be used interchangeably. We've just discussed this, referring to the whole of things or allness, which is present in and through all. The whole of God, good, just add an O in there, G-O-O-D, add an O. Write that down right now, add an O. God, add an O. Good is present at every point in space at the same time. Now we're getting into chapter 1 of the book, if you're following along in the book, or if you're going to be reading the book. The whole of God's substance, chapter 1, the truth about substance. By the way, if it seems I'm talking a little kind of quickly, it's because we've got an hour this morning, and I want to get through as much of this material as possible to put this book into 3 days. We're going to get through it. We're going to do it. The whole of God's substance is present as a prospering presence. And we're going to discuss what prosperity means in just a moment, too, a little bit deeper. The whole of God's substance is present as a prospering presence. Know this, and you are on the way to achieving prosperity. I'm just going to tell you now, we're going to come to this slide here in a little bit. Prosperity, or a blessing, means to confer prosperity upon. To confer prosperity upon is to bless something. So know that all of God's substance as a blessing is present as a blessing presence to confer prosperity upon you. Be sure to catch the implication of this great truth as it concerns God as substance. The whole of God's substance is present in its entirety, in every point in space at the same time. All the substance in the universe is present at any point of human need. Substance is the stuff of good. Substance is the stuff of life. Substance is the stuff of an empowering presence that is the only place that you could have come from, God's substance. And so it's the thing, especially during this time, that is fraught with creativity and idea and motivation and inspiration from within you. There's plenty of places we find inspiration. The most powerful place we find inspiration is inside of ourselves, is when we take time to quiet the mind, to quiet the brain from what it does, which is think. And primarily it thinks to, protect us and harness idea and things like that. And we want to take times to just quiet that as much as we can so that we can hear a different level of inspiration coming from within, a creative idea, truth about the substance from where you come and who you are. This is the thing, especially now, that springs forth creativity and inspiration and idea that can help us in our own personal economy, our own personal network system to find solution for the challenges that are in front of us. And folks, trust me, I know there are challenges in front of us. I continue to hear and see folks are losing jobs and having their paychecks cut and these things. And I have such a tremendous amount of compassion for all of these folks, for what's happening. Tremendous amount of compassion. And within that, what I hope is conveyed during this time is that there still somehow is idea and creativity that can help sustain us. Get into your consciousness, your attitude, your belief, your feeling that you live in substance as a fish lives in water. Again, what is substance? It's the creative thing. It's the force. It's the juice. It's the allness of good, of creativity, of beauty. You live within that. It's the only thing you could live within, the same as a fish lives in water. The fish doesn't know it lives in water. It's just doing its thing. The thing, though, for us is to get into relationship with it, that you live inside creativity, that you live inside idea, that you live inside potential. And it's up to us to realize that through various practices, our meditation, our prayer, empowered conversations with people, having the right team in place. Your team, who is your team? The people that you can call when you're not feeling good about things, the people that you can call when you're want to share your joy. These are the ways that we can continue to live that out, up level it. The universe, because it's the only place you come from, God, we come from somewhere, right? It's not where did you come from? You came as an idea. Always first two things are, creativity happens in two ways. First in consciousness or idea, and then in form. For example, this technology right now. Hey, here's an idea. Is there a way that we can connect and communicate with each other remotely from afar, so that we're joining probably from all over the place right now this morning? Here's an idea. How can we do that but not have to be together in the same place? This technology, which I can't explain to you because I have no idea how it works. Producer Jeff could do that, but that's again for another time as well. Idea, form. Be willing to be one of those that risks everything to have an idea that will then not only bless other folks, but will bless you and other folks. The universe owes you a living. The world owes you nothing. As you can see, the world owes you nothing. Yet we have the capacity to have an idea, to live into it, and be sustained by it and inspired by it. Emerson said, the free flow of substance in your life is the continuation of the divine effort that made you in the first place. The free flow of substance in your life is the continuation of the divine effort that made you in the first place. Isn't that beautiful? It's poetry. I mean, all Emerson did was write poetry, but the thing that made us in the first place, that so wanted us to have life, is continuing to, as the fish in water, kind of press in upon us, saying, create, catch a greater idea of me, know what's happening. Oh, going backward here. Let's keep going forward. Ask and ye shall receive. Ask and ye shall receive. The word ask has a strong connotation to the Greek word for claim or demand. It's time to stake your claim and assume your rightful place within life's forever outpouring of divine substance, of spiritual substance. The word ask has a strong connotation to the Greek word for claim or demand. So take a moment and consider where you are in life right now. What's happening in the world of your affairs? What's happening? What joys or challenges are you faced with right now? And consider a demand or a claim that you'd like to make for life's outpouring. How would life outpour into you such that you are inspired more, that your cup of joy is filled to a greater degree? It is time to stake your claim and assume your rightful place within life's forever outpouring of substance. We have to be the cup that receives. Are you willing to receive your good? All right. So here's a couple of questions to consider. Again, we're going to make these slides available to you so that you can address them later. But if you have a moment, even to write the keywords down, what are 10 new behaviors or practices you need to begin welcoming into your life, or you desire welcoming into your life? What are 10 behaviors or habits that it's time to let go of? so that you can begin moving in the direction of real prosperity. How does your thinking and believing need to change in order to live prosperously? We'll just let those be there for just a moment before we move on to the next segment, which would actually be chapter 2. All right. So 10 and 10, behaviors to let go of, behaviors to welcome. All right. Your fortune begins with you and the law of visualization. Here we go. Accept the law of consciousness. The law of consciousness is that you can take charge of your own life and influence outer conditions. The law of consciousness, belief, and attitude is that you have control. I love this line from the Matrix. You have control of your own damn mind. You have control of your own mind. I'm continually inspired by the simple notice, insight of Viktor Frankl, A Man's Search for Meaning, that in the darkest hell that I could imagine, being tortured and brutalized in a concentration camp in Nazi Germany, in Auschwitz, which is in Poland, that he said, you can do whatever you want to my body, but you cannot affect my mind. It is my thinking, my consciousness, my beliefs, attitudes, and feeling toward life, that you cannot affect that. It is the last thing, the only thing that cannot be affected by outer circumstances. And folks, we know we have a tremendous amount of those to deal with right now. Outer conditions that are affecting us that we could either allow in the little, the wormhole into your brain. You could either let those in or have control and consider life from an affirmative standpoint still, from a life-giving standpoint, from a standpoint of good. Make a choice. Again, choose, but no, nothing can affect your mind. You have control of your own damn mind. Realize that. Things may happen around you and things may happen to you, but the only things that really count are the things that happen in you. The only things that count are the things that happen inside of you. Whether it's crisis, whether it's just the winds of change that blow through the course of our lives, it's always going to be different. Change continues to happen. The thing that is changeless is your capacity to control what happens inside of you. That, again, is consciousness, your attitude, belief, and feeling tones about life, how you meet life, how you touch life. I am where I am in experience, in relationships, even in financial conditions, because of what I am, which is where I am in consciousness. This is, in the book, Eric Butterworth talks about minusing and plussing. Are you minusing? Are you taking away from your good by not recognizing that it's good? Or are you plussing and adding to your cup of joy by recognizing your blessings, by recognizing the beauty that's around you, by recognizing what's so good about your life? Or are you focusing on how difficult things are and how much it sucks? And forgive my language, how shitty it seems to be. Or focus on your good. What's good about your life right now? That adds to a belief and an attitude, to a consciousness of expecting more good, because gratitude has more density. Gratitude has gravitational pull. Gratitude has the capacity to accept more that we're grateful for. And we're going to get into this on Wednesday. Gratitude has a greater capacity to welcome more good. Gratitude has a greater capacity to, it's an invitation. The grateful heart is an invitation sent out as the same way as a radio wave is sent out. It's an invitation to welcome a greater good into your life. Start plussing, stop minusing. Start plussing, stop minusing. Start plussing, stop minusing. Start plussing, stop minusing. All right? There's an opportunity to take inventory, plus more, minus less. All right, in the book, Eric Butterworth talks about the horseshoe-shaped piece of steel painted red. Anybody know what that is? Remember that, the old horseshoe, the magnet? It's a magnet. A magnet does what a magnet does. And you can't, again, it's back to the law of consciousness. Whatever you put, if it's a metallic object, it will attract it, it will pick it up. You are a magnet. You are a living magnet. What do you want to attract? What are you interested in attracting? There's a bunch of words that come along with attraction: intention, gratitude, what you're putting out, all of these types of things. Just consider, what are you a magnet for? What are you a magnet for? The law is 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 the law. That's the way it is. I love this. Try right now and make a demonstration of gravity. You don't need to try. It just happens. You're doing it right now. I'm standing here. If there wasn't gravity, I'd be floating away, and this time that we're sharing together would become a lot more interesting. We can't make a demonstration of gravity. Gravity is. So the demonstration is always happening. The law is the law. The same way that's a physical law, there are spiritual laws that we're participating with. Again, it comes back, and you're going to get sick of me saying this, but it's something that we need to continue to learn, enhance, participate with, embody. Back to the word embody. And that is, it's all about consciousness, the law of consciousness. You are demonstrating it now. Your relationship with life is how you perceive life. How you are experiencing your life is your relationship with it. It's how you perceive it. It's what you expect. It's what you believe. It's your attitude about it. So again, take inventory. Are you engaged with the fear? Are you engaged with hopelessness? Are you engaged with, oh my God, we're all gonna die? A lot of folks are. I encourage you not to be. But also, at some point, we're all gonna die. That's just the way it is. So how do you want to live? What's that line from Shawshank Redemption? Get busy living or get busy dying. What do you want to get busy doing? Demonstration as your life. Don't expect a miracle. Butterworth says, why not expect a miracle? What did Einstein say? Either everything is a miracle or nothing is a miracle. Everything's a miracle or nothing is a miracle. So we don't expect miracles as some, as something that, the God's hands came in, and I understand it's comforting. I really understand that it's comforting to think that somehow there is divine intervention, or that the hand of God came down and did something in a time of desperation that turned things around. But truly, really, it's your relationship with life. God did its job a long time ago. And that is that it breathed the allness and the fullness of love and good and joy and beauty into each one of us. Now it's our opportunity to unlock that, imprisoned splendor, as it's been called, to really live. Don't expect a miracle. Just know that it's your relationship with life that draws good into you. It's how you perceive it, how you welcome it. Welcome good. Walt Whitman, henceforth, I ask not good fortune. I am good fortune. What a powerful statement is that? How many of us love Whitman and Whitman's poetry and the good that he presented to us in his writing? Are you superstitious, or are you just expecting your good because you are good fortune? Henceforth, I ask not good fortune, beseeching for good to come to me from someplace, but rather I myself am good fortune. I present to the world, this is me, draw forth unto me my good that I decided I'm worthy of. Don't let the world around you force you into its mold, but let God remold your mind from within. Don't let the world around you force you into its mold, but let God remold your mind from within. How do we do this? I mentioned some of these things earlier. In your times of silence and meditation, to just become silent and listen. In our times of affirmative prayer, speaking the affirmative word about your life. An affirmation, affirmative word about your life. Your team, having empowered, life-giving conversations. Reading material that sets you free, that has you think about life in a new and expanded way. There's so much material. We could go find the stuff that creates fear. We can find the stuff that creates joy. Find the stuff that reveals joy. Reading, meditating, giving to another, serving. FaceTime somebody today, Zoom somebody today, Skype somebody today, and just because let them know you were thinking about them. These are the things that remold us, that mold us from within. Let God, good, remember, add the O, good, remold your mind from within. Your good isn't out here. Your good is here, and then we see it out there. Thoreau, this is powerful stuff right here, folks. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which she has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. She will put some things behind, will pass an invisible boundary. New, universal, and more liberal laws will begin to establish themselves around and within him. Old laws will be expanded and interpreted in her favor in a more liberal sense, and she will live with the license of a higher order of beings. Are you ready to advance confidently in the direction of your dreams? What is your dream for right now? Maybe it's time to simplify things and just consider, what's your dream for this day? What's your dream for this moment? What is your dream for this week? As there's more opportunity to be with ourselves, what are you interested in advancing confidently in the direction of today? What dream? Do it. All right, switching to a different gear. Let's take a deep breath. I'm going to take a drink of water. I know you're not supposed to cheers water, but cheers. All right, next unit, the law of visualization. Wonderful insight from Butterworth. Seeing is not believing. Believing is seeing. Perhaps some of you have heard this before. This is 1983. Seeing is not believing. Believing is seeing. Again, consciousness, attitudes, and beliefs. What are you believing? What you believe, you will see. The greatest need is not to set things right, but to see them rightly. What does that mean? Not to set things right, but to see them rightly. How often do we move through our lives trying to move the puzzle pieces around to make it fit, rather than seeing it rightly first? And then it's a vision to behold. It's a vision to have. That we see something first and we move in that direction. That we see something internally and move in that direction. The greatest need is not to set things right, but to see them rightly. So that's a question each of us can ask ourselves right now. What does it mean in this moment? Because there's so many things that are out of our control. I mean, that's the truth all the time anyway, right, folks? How many things are in our control? This, our consciousness, the way we interact with life, and the choices that we make. So many things even now seem more out of our control. What would it mean right now to see things rightly? Consider that question, write it down. What would it mean right now to see things rightly. Is everything in order? Is there a divinity at play here? Investigate that. Consider it. Somehow, there has to be, for the destiny of humanity is wholeness. Wholeness, creativity, and expression. Thomas Troward, the great judge Thomas Troward. Having seen and felt the end, you have willed the means to the realization of the end. Again, this is something that happens inside of you. See the end. What are you willing to move confidently in the direction of today? See it. Is it fulfillment? Is it a time with your children? Is it a creative idea? Being willing to welcome a creative idea by the time you close your eyes and put your head on the pillow tonight, to welcome a new creative idea that you could present to the world and monetize it to sustain you somehow. Having seen and felt the end, you have willed the means to the realization of the end. Is there an idea you can catch today that could empower your life during these crazy times? Do not judge by appearances, but judge with right judgment. That's an old statement from Jesus. Judge with right judgment. What is that? Again, it's seeing from within. Worry or confidence? How worried are you? Or are you confident that things will work out? Now, look, I know that worry is a thing. Worry, there's a lot that would appear that we ought to be worried about right now. Bankruptcy, loss of, most of it, I would say, a lot of it has to do with our finances. A lot of it has to do with mental health and just, can I get out of the house and take a walk and just feel good about myself for a little bit without seeing the same, people and environment over and over and over again. There's a tremendous amount that we could worry about, but does that change your situation? Worry doesn't change it. It just makes us feel more desperate. There's a greater despair that comes along with it. What about confidence? Confidence in, again, welcoming a new idea, confidence in your capacity to be creative, confidence in your capacity to see things in a different way, confidence in your capacity to know that you are a living expression of that G-O, add the O-D, good, and harness it. Harvest something as a farmer of your own being. Harvest a new crop of joy, of confidence, of idea, of creativity. All right, there's a story in the book. So I just have this up here, the little girl and the Quaker father. There's a story in the book about this man and his daughter were standing looking out a window, and I think the way it goes that there's a dog out in the street that just got hit by a car, and the daughter was looking out and saw this happen and was just wailing in sorrow, as probably a number of us would, maybe not wailing, but definitely feeling sad and loss and grief and all that kind of stuff. And the father then became aware of what was happening and walked over, ushered his daughter over to another window to look out another window. And through this other window, there was their garden, the family garden outside of the house with beautiful flowers, butterflies, bees, etc., flying around. And the little girl calmed down and took some deep breaths and began to take in the beauty that she was seeing and stopped crying and started beholding joy. Now, there are times when we definitely look out the window of despair. But again, we want to take control of our own mind and look out the window of beauty. And again, this is, what's the word? Consciousness. It's our agreement with life. It goes back to the first question I asked. What are you committed to? Commit to seeing out the window of beauty. there is plenty of opportunity to see out of the window of despair right now. Plenty of opportunity to see out of the window of what's wrong. Take control of your mind, your beliefs and your attitudes, and look out of the window of what's good, of what's beautiful about your life right now. Trying to reach east by traveling west. This is great. So you want prosperity, you want joy, you want fulfillment, you want these good things, and yet you're entertaining worry. I'm entertaining worry. I'm entertaining what could go wrong. I want fulfillment. I want safety. I want security. I want more joy. And yet I'm indulging in how bad things are, indulging in what's wrong with the world right now, indulging in, oh my God, I'm in lockdown, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Don't try and get east by traveling west. Get east by traveling east. Get your good by moving in the direction of your good. This is something I love that the pandemic, it's going around, COVID, it's going around. I came up with this a while ago. Health, it's going around. Say that to somebody. Say it to yourself right now. Health, it's going around. Next time you see somebody, hey, did you hear about this health thing? It's going around. Prosperity, it's going around. Joy, it's going around. When a small group, even when you get convinced of something and then welcome another into that idea, two people have the capacity to influence many. It's called agreement. First, see through the window of beauty and then invite somebody else into it. Hey, prosperity, it's going around. Health, it's going around. Tell yourself that right now. Consciousness, again, we're not denying what's happening, but we're getting ourselves into a right relationship with ourselves. We're getting into a right relationship with our own mind and with our heart. Tell yourself right now, hey, health, it's going around. You and I both know that people have healed themselves from a tremendous amount of sickness over and over and over again. Big time sickness. Who supports in that? First of all, your mind, your heart, your commitment to be healthy, but then also we talk other people into that idea of health and wholeness. Doctors that help us do that, nurses, pharmacists, whoever it might be. Can you get in agreement with the idea that health is going around and then start sharing that? People heal themselves all the time. People heal themselves all the time. Why can't we heal ourselves as a human body right now by getting into right relationship with ourselves and with life? Too tall of a task? Too tall of an order? Why? Why? Why can't health be the normalcy? Health now. It's going around. You will always tend to act like the person you conceive yourself to be, like the person you perceive yourself to be. You will always tend to act like how you know yourself to be. What is your I amage? This is one of my favorite stories from the Bible and so powerful. The prodigal son has everything at home. Riches, a loving family, a loving father, anything, wanted for nothing. But something within him said, let me go out and see what's going on out there. Let me go out and see what's going to happen if I step out of this kingdom that I live in, queendom that I live in, and go for it. Party, experience life, throw caution to the wind and just really go for it. What happens at the end of that story? The prodigal son finds himself face down in a pit of pig slop. Why? He chose to leave the kingdom, indulge all of the seductions of the world, and at one point went to the bottom and found himself in a pit of pig slop. And in that moment, what happened? It says, he came to himself. In that moment, the prodigal son came to himself. And that's the most powerful line right there. Face down, pit of despair. I can certainly relate with that. I've had times in my life where I was just lost, face down, pit of despair. A lot of us might be having those challenges right now, just feeling lost, alone, afraid. But in that moment, the prodigal son came to himself. And that is a metaphysical statement about realizing who we really are, who he really is. And what did he do? As soon as he came to himself, he went home. And what's at home? Love, food, banquet, beauty, plenty, all of these wonderful things. Folks, it's time that we come to ourselves right now. We need to come to ourselves. And that is to get in our right mind, to achieve again our sanity of what's really happening. And that is that we live within the presence and the power and the love of life as your life. All right, there was this study. Again, we're just continuing to look at consciousness and the beauty of consciousness. There was a study at the University of Chicago quite a long time ago where there were 3 control groups that were created. One, and this has had to do with shooting free throws. Any basketball players out there? Shooting free throws. If you're not familiar with what a free throw is, it's basketball. It's where you, anyway, from a line, you shoot the basketball toward the bucket. I don't know why I'm breaking that down so much, but anyway. All right. The first control group. For a month, for 30 days, they were told to go and practice shooting free throws for an hour a day. Actually do the exercise of shooting baskets for an hour a day. The second group was told to go home and do nothing for 30 days. Nothing at all. The third control group was told to go home and visualize shooting free throws, shooting baskets for an hour a day. Not to do it, just to visualize it, just to see it. What happened? The control group that was told to do nothing didn't improve at all. The control group that was told to actually shoot baskets improved by, I think it was like 26%. And the group that was told to visualize shooting baskets improved 27%. The law of visualization, visualizing. See yourself living in your good. See yourself living in your blessing. What mindset are you in? Another illustration that Butterworth presents in the book, the $15,000 a year salesperson. So this $15,000, so this person was given from their company a market to go sell in. And the market was seen to be a really rich and robust market. And so this salesperson went and within the first year sold $15,000 worth of goods. And they were like, we believe that this market could yield a lot more sales. So they put him in a lower market where it wasn't as ripe with harvest. What did the salesperson do? $15,000 a year of sales. And the company was overjoyed because they thought he'd overdone. He overdid himself. He overdid the market. He oversold the market, $15,000. What does this tell us? This person had a $15,000 a year paradigm. Put him in the richer market, put him in the poorer market. $15,000 a year paradigm. What is your paradigm? Where do you live? Jeff, how are we doing on time? Where are
10
we?
minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, here we go. We have 10 minutes more. We're going to get through as much as we can here and then pick it up. Okay. Couple more questions for you here, folks. How do I practice superstition in my life? Are you superstitious? I mean, I'm a golfer. Like the golfers are the most superstitious. Athletes generally are the most superstitious. You know, let me have the quarter in my pocket with the, you know, with the head side facing out, 3 tees in my left pocket, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that has not, all superstition does is still affect your mentality. Superstition only affects your belief, your attitude. Take control of your mind again. Where are your buts? I could have this good butt. I want to have a great idea, but take an inventory of your butts. What dream are you really interested in going for? What 3 things this week will you do to support this, to support your dream? I'll leave those up there for just a moment. All right. Last little bit here. Let's see how far we get. If you can believe in the grateful heart. This is from the book, The Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. If we have an active faith, the faith of God, instead of merely a faith in God, the faith of God, which is wholeness already, not a faith in God, hopefully intervene on my behalf, please. Our thought must be centered in universal mind. That is the mind of wholeness, the understanding that all is well. We are convinced that under divine law, all things are possible if we only believe and work in conformity with the principles of the law. Such faith does not spring full-orbed into being, but grows by knowledge and experience. Such faith does not spring full-orbed into being, but grows by knowledge and experience. So again, this is why we're doing this together. Hopefully there's some new knowledge that each of us, all of us, are entertaining at this point. And experience. Try it on in the laboratory of your own life. What if, just for today, you disciplined your mind to look for good, to look for trust and hope and not fear? For today. Try it just for one day. What's going to happen? Then get to the end of your day, pull out your journal, pull out your pen, write down how it went. What do you think? Did you feel better about life? What opportunities now might be coming your way? Belief. Break with the God of tradition and cease with the God of intellect. God will fire you with its presence. Old school God, the God of fear, the God of judgment. Break with that God. Move into the God where you add the O. What happens when you add the O? Good. Good will fire you with its presence from within. Reiteration, we must develop not just a faith in God, but the faith of God. And again, that is that all is well already. Add the O. Not just a faith in good, but the faith of good. Faith is consciousness centered in universal source. Again, it's back to substance, the idea that there is plenty. There is plenty. There is plenty. Belief in a flat world did not change the round world one bit. Belief in a flat world did not change the round world one bit. The law is the law is the law is the law. Belief plus feeling, belief plus attitude, consciousness, belief plus knowledge of what's so. Again, go to the laboratory of your own life to prove this. Just because folks thought the world was flat didn't turn it flat. It's still round. Just because we're in fear right now doesn't make the world broken. Just because a lot of people are scared right now doesn't mean there isn't an all-sufficient faith that there's a good that you can live into. And I know a lot of us, there's probably a lot of folks tuned into this that believe already, which is great, that have this knowledge and understanding already. We need to fortify it. I'm not into proselytizing. I believe that folks come to truth when they come to it, but there's still something about sharing good news. Don't we love good news? Sharing the good news, where the gospel comes from, the good news. sharing the good news that there's still something happening which is blessing us in the midst of financial challenge, in the midst of concern and fear. Don't indulge the fear, indulge the good, indulge the blessing, indulge your beauty. You're beautiful. There is always an all-sufficiency, even within the insufficiency. Again, consciousness. If you're experiencing an insufficiency of finances, of connection, of physical health, within that, if you can begin to turn your attention to an all-sufficiency, that is the great sustainer, the great good, the great beauty of your life, we can begin to turn things around. We begin to turn things around. Abundance is an ever-present reality. Now, I'm moved to mention here too, that even as we're moving through this information, that there could be a part of your mind, a part of your thinking that says, this is all a bunch of crap. I still got my paycheck cut by 50%. I still lost my job. I understand that. And again, I have a tremendous amount of compassion for that. And within the midst of that, if we're willing to we're not the first people to have challenge and hardship. We're not the first people to feel like the world's coming apart at the seams. There have been tremendous challenges. And if we're willing to commit to creativity, to having a new idea and be bold on its behalf, you can monetize that. You can find a way to, because there are people that are thriving right now. And I'm not just talking about people that might be corrupt. I'm talking about people that are launching new ideas. I'm talking about people that are willing to harvest an idea, be creative on its behalf and bold on its behalf, that are monetizing these things. What idea can you come up with? You have one. There's one there. You just got to listen, but you have to turn down the fear. Turn down the fear, turn up the creativity. Let go of I can't and begin to identify yourself as God's living enterprise. Let go of I can't and begin to identify yourself as God's living enterprise. There shall be no Alps. Now, this is from Napoleon back when he wanted to go and invade Russia. And people were like, you're crazy. You want to do this? And you got mountains to climb over. And he said, there shall be no Alps. Now, the Alps were still there, weren't they? But this is a commitment. Now, this may sound like a weird story to pull from, but still, it's a powerful statement of consciousness. There shall be no Alps. We're going to go do this and we're going to get it done. There shall be no financial hardship. There shall be no worry. There shall be no fear. Only hope, only joy, only love. Can't remember what that one's from, so we're going to go economic fulfill. I love this. This is from Dr. Michael Beckwith. I heard a long time ago when he coined this. Fulfillment, not fulfillment. Fulfillment, not fulfillment. Not we can how full we can make ourselves feel through consumerism, but the fulfillment that comes from God making us new from within. Most of us want and desire health and prosperity, but many expect disease and lack. What are you expecting? Expect your good. Faith is expectancy. What are you expecting today? Expect. Again, take some time today and write it down. What are you expecting to experience today? Get your journal out. What are you expecting today? All right, we're going to stop there because one goes into the next little unit, and we're up against the time. So thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to pick this up on Wednesday morning with some more information we're going to share with you. We're going to continue on going through the book, and that's it for today. So there's if you're moved to donate to the Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert, there's a PayPal button that's on your screen. It's in a link. You'll find it where you can donate to the center and support the work that we're up to. We really appreciate you. I'm so grateful to be with you today. my prayer is that if one idea that was shared today is meaningful for you, then it's been a job well done by all of us. So please take time and write some notes down, some thoughts down, spend some time journaling and metabolizing this information. And I look forward to seeing you in about 48 hours. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.